I'm gonna tell you the story about the girl killed herself in college. Good one.
That's a
Okay.
Just stay with me on this one.
Oh, man, dude,
so,
this sounds good.
Back in the day, as y'all know, I was a resident advisor. And eventually, I had to become the hall director, which is like the boss of all the other resident advisors, because I was so good at my job. Anywho, get a call one night, like 3 in the morning. I get a call on the cell phone. It says, Jake, we got an emergency. There's a girl down in Brackett Hall, and she's gonna kill herself. And I'm like, fuck. I put on my clothes, run down there, and I'm knocking on the door. And I'm like, hello, who's in there? And she's like, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, don't do it. Everybody's around, screaming outside. I got the door, I got the key in the door. I'm busting in the door. I open it up. There she is. Window's open. Perched on the window. Half of her body's already out. Looks at me. And we make eye contact. Don't do it. Don't do it. Goes, goodbye. Jumps out the fucking window. And I start laughing my ass off.
what?
Well, it turns out that she was really high on shrooms and she lived on the first floor. So, so this bitch jumps out the window, and we go over to the window and we look down and she's on the ground going, ah! Ah! And we're laughing.
What the fuck?
And this bitch thought she killed herself. We picked her up. She didn't even remember the next morning. We brought her to the drunk tank. She had no fucking idea. God, that was a good one.
Literally the first floor.
Oh, the
So
first
what was
floor.
she saying when
fell
she was laying
3
on the
feet.
ground thinking she was dead?
She was on the ground going, ah! Like she was falling. That bitch was so high on shrooms.
It burns.
Wow.
I got so many RA stories, man. It's great. What about the
Bucks.
dead hobo? That's a good one.
Please, continue.
Yeah.
So
keep going,
we're...
Mike.
Okay. So in the wintertime, when I'm in RA, they pay you to stay in the wintertime. Because there's like out-of-country students that can't afford to go home, even though the dorms shut down for winter. It's 2 weeks. You get paid $50 a day and $50 a night. Now, me, I'm a video game player. I don't give a shit. Left 4 Dead 2 just came out. I was like, sign me up for 7 straight days. I will, because you can't leave the building. That's the catch. You're trapped in the building. You're not allowed to step out once. But they pay you $50 every day, every night. So I was like, I'll just play Left 4 Dead 2 for like, a literal week. And it was one of the best weeks of my life. I even did a psychology experiment where I taped up all the windows so I couldn't see the sun, or I turned off all my clocks and I tried to guess if it was day or night. Shit was great. Anyway, one day,
Dude.
it's wintertime. It's like blizzarding out in Colorado. We're walking around, me and my RA buddy, and we see this pile of snow, like this lump of snow. We're like, what the fuck is that? And we go over to it and we start moving it off, and it's just a dude, like just a hobo guy, like buried in snow. We're like, oh shit, this dude's dead. Anyway, we call like an ambulance and stuff. We go home, get our cell phones, call the ambulance, and we come back out, and lump is gone. What was that? And then we hear these girls screaming, ah! And we run over to the side of the building and we see the homeless guy. He's still like covered in snow and he's like banging on the glass trying to get in. And we're like, what is happening? And he picks up a rock and he throws the rock through the door, opens the door and runs in the building, and the girls are running out. We never found him again. For all I know, that homeless dude is still somewhere in that building. It's terrifying. And we kept hearing like him walking around at night being like, whoa! And it was like the scariest shit I have ever been in. That shit was like Silent Hill for me. And I was still playing Left 4 Dead. But,
Probably not the
Al
same
made it
way,
even
but-
worse. The ambiance was great. Okay, I'll tell you one more. You want one more RA story?
Wait, that was it?
That was
This
the
reminds
whole
me of
story?
another one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
This is the legend of the ghost pot guy.
The ghost
Here we go.
pot guy.
The ghost pot guy.
Okay.
Guy's trying to get into his door. His room. Now, I've been trying to catch these kids smoking pot for so long, but they're crafty. They're engineers. And they devised a system even where they had a sensor where when you walked by, it Febrezed their entire room. They had a laser sensor. These kids were not fucking around.
Damn.
And I was cool with that, If you want to smoke pot in your room, that's cool. But these kids would just smoke pot all the time, and as long as I couldn't smell it, that was it. I was cool. Yeah, get high all you want. But these kids were constantly getting high, constantly getting in trouble. We never got them. But one day, We got him. This kid walks out of his room, just pot everywhere. Okay, this is it. I got him. We're finally gonna get him. And then he goes back. He sees me and he goes back into his room and he locks himself out. Oh, fuck. And he can't get into his room. And his roommate's not home either. So he sees me. He's like, oh shit. He knows I've been smoking pot. I'm high as fuck. And he runs. Runs into his buddy's room. We're in the basement of this building. Runs into his buddy's room. I get my friend. I'm like, all right, let's go finally get this guy. Knock on the door to his buddy's room. And I'm like, yo, is Blank here? And he's like, he's right outside. Shh, shut up. Just do it. I'm like, okay, we got him. We're in the basement. The windows are barred over, you know, in some campuses, like, the basement windows are barred. I'm like, I know he's in there. Just open up. And they open up, and they're like, what's up, man? And I was like, I'm searching your room. I look everywhere. For 30 fucking minutes, this kid is a ghost. I'm looking under the blankets. I'm looking in the closets. There's no way out. The windows are not broken. This kid's gone. What the fuck is happening? So I leave the room. And I'm like flabbergasted. And then his roommate comes home, and his roommate's locked out of the room too. And he's like, hey, have you seen my roommate? And I'm like, yeah, he's right in there. So his roommate goes in. And then I hear both their voices. They're like, oh, what do you mean he fucking told you to come in here? Oh my God, he's gonna get us. And I'm like, knock on the door. And I'm like, I know you're in there. Open up. And they take 2 minutes. I go in there. He's fucking gone. We don't know what the hell is going on. We checked the ceiling tiles. The kid has vanished. This bothers... I have to let him go. This bothers me for like 9 months. Eventually, at the end of the year, it's our last thing. I go up to this kid and I'm like, bro, listen. I'm not sure... I can't get you in trouble anymore. I have to know what happened. My life will be ruined if I don't know how you escaped me. They said, oh, it's real simple. You know our dressers? We actually cut off the front of those and super glued them and made it into a door hinge where we kept our keg. So I was actually hidden inside the dresser. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And I shook his hand. I'm like, God bless you, dude. That's that's incredible. And that's the mystery of the disappearing pothead. It was...
Jesus,
Stay with
dude.
me. That
They
kid.
turned their dresser into a kegerator? That is unbelievable.
Engineers, bro, never
Man.
underestimate them.
I
never
feel like
knew.
I really didn't live during my college years after hearing a story like that. My
Man,
God, I just
seriously.
played World of Warcraft and drank like 2 beers.
Kids,
Crazy.
bro.
Yeah, that's pretty
What a
exciting.
night, Andrew.
That's,
Dude, I got
baby.
wild. That Wrath of the Lich King wasn't going to grind itself. I'll tell you what. Woo.